Ladies and gentlemen, this is Roy Awbrey presenting my $3,000 electric accordion. All the sounds you hear on this album will be made by my accordion, except for Jesse the drummer. Jesse, here we go on 12th Street Rag. Are you ready, boy? Tricky, Jesse. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for that deafening applause. I love applause. Of course, the boss doesn't. While you're applauding, you're not drinking. Well, here's another cute song. See if you recognize this tune, folks. That's a song I played for a guy the other night. See, we had a small audience. And he was such a nice guy. Found out it was a janitor waiting to clean up. And he kept asking for the sidewalks of New York. Every time I played it, I noticed he had tears in his eyes. I said, "Are you from New York?" I figured he was homesick. He said, "No, I'm a musician." And I found out he was, too. He has a three-piece band in Chicago. There's a piano, a stool, and himself. And they used to play these weird tunes. Here's a little bit of it. It was made famous in Egypt. I believe they call it "Oh, What a Baghdad Had" or something like that. Then there's another song that his wife used to sing to him. It's called "I'll Love You When You Don't Have a Nickel, But I Won't Be With You." I could tell you more about what happened, but you'd only laugh, so I'm going to move on to another sound here. I'm featuring this electric thing on my accordion here, put out by Leslie, and it makes the accordion play completely electronically. In other words, I don't have to move the accordion. I just touch the notes and it plays, something like this. At this time, I'm not even moving my accordion, but this sound is coming out. Now that if I move the accordion back and forth with the organ unit, it gets quite a bit louder, something like this. But I was in one movie once. It's sort of ridiculous. I was supposed to chase this nude girl down this beach. They cut that part out. I caught her. Oh, then I went to work for a laundry. The boss came in and says, "How's everything today?" And I said, "Well, the shirts are coming out nice and white, aren't they?" He said, "Yeah, especially the green ones." Now then, here's a new sound that I think is really great because it sounds like the three sons. I have the organ sound to the left of the instrument, something like this. With my left hand, I play the rhythm on the accordion. And then on my right hand, I have two warts. Or I play the melody, something like this. Now we'll combine these three sounds, organ, rhythm, melody, and it sounds almost like the three sons. Not exactly, but about as close as one accordion will get to sounding like all three of them. Here's a sample. Switch. It makes the accordion sound like a clarinet. All I do is touch the notes down here, just a moment, and out comes a clarinet sound. Well, there's $40 shot. Here's another switch that's interesting. Makes the accordion sound like a block of wood with holes in it. Some people call them a sweet potato, and they give off this sound. Now, if I combine both of these together, and use this foot switch down here and emphasize the melody, it gives off this old sound. I was in a bar the other day and I said, "How's the best way to cut off a cat's tail?" Well, he said the best way would be to repossess his Jaguar. Oh, it's a gasser. Here's another one now that is tricky. It makes the accordion sound like bagpipes. Here's a sample. Have you ever seen a bagpipe? Looks like a flute with bladder trouble. Here's another sound that's very unusual. It's that old Lionel Hampton sound. Remember him? He used to play vibes, and he got this sound. Here's the old Glenn Miller sound. Surprisingly enough, I can turn on the organ unit with the accordion, and it gives off that big band sound. It was his theme song. It's called Moonlight Serenade. I'll be short 18 men on this number, but this is his style of playing. Shake the accordion 3 times per note, something like this. And that's supposed to sound like 3 violins blowing their violins 3 times per note. And it's it would be on the style of David Rose and his violins. Here's a sample of that sound. Here's an easier song. As I step on this foot switch on the floor sideways, it makes the accordion sound a little bit like a Hawaiian guitar. Here's a sample. Another interesting switch. I step on this third button here, and it makes the accordion sound like bells. Here's a sample. boogie-woogie beat in my left hand over here. And then we just play some good old-fashioned jazz. Are you ready?